Hello, everyone. So today we're going to be talking about ADHD and alcohol. I have been putting off this episode for a really long time because it's a sensitive topic, talking about mental health. And also, I don't have diagnosed ADHD. And so sometimes I feel like that doesn't give me the merit to talk on the subject. But I don't need a diagnosis for myself. For me, learning about the symptoms, finding which ones I resonate with, and identifying coping strategies to live a better life is all I need. I personally will not get on medication. I love living a life with as little substances in me as possible, or as few alterations to my natural self, if that makes sense. Like, I don't use deodorant. I don't use mouthwash. I feel like our bodies produce these natural oils and bacteria that's supposed to help us. And I don't take a daily vitamin. I try to get my nutrients through my food and cover my bases that way. So all I'm trying to say is I like to put as little extra into my body. No vitamins, no supplements, no any of that stuff. And so I'm not going to get on ADHD medication. So for me, a diagnosis isn't necessarily necessary. A lot of people want to get a diagnosis just to have a lot of the questions answered in their head and kind of come to terms with why they are the way they are. And hearing that they have ADHD kind of makes it all make sense in their mind. And that I totally understand. If that's you and you need that peace of mind, like, go for it. That's amazing. You should get diagnosed. I know that it brings a lot of people peace and understanding. For me, learning the coping strategies has totally given me everything that I need. I don't need to identify as someone with ADHD or like have that label diagnosed by a doctor to be able to make improvements to my life based off the symptoms that I experience. So that's why I've been a bit nervous to talk about this topic because, first of all, I'm not a psychiatrist or neurologist or anything like that. I'm not a doctor, so let's get that one out of the way. But also, I'm not diagnosed. And so I sometimes feel like I'm not allowed to talk about this. But all I'll say is that so many people with ADHD develop alcohol use disorder or, a bad relationship with alcohol. So I think it's an important topic to talk about. So with that said, let's get into the episode. Welcome to Hold My Drink, a sobriety podcast. This is a no judgment zone. I really freaking like my life without alcohol. You're not alone. I hope you feel seen. Sobriety has changed my life completely. I'm going to hit you with a crazy stat right from the get-go, and that is that 43% of people with ADHD will develop alcohol use disorder. That's from charliehealth.com. And so almost half of people who have ADHD will struggle with alcohol. Another one, binge drinking is defined as having 5 or more drinks within 2 hours for men and 4 drinks within 2 hours for women. And 42% of people with ADHD reported binge drinking every time they drank alcohol. So that number is very similar to the last one. Nearly half of people with ADHD are binge drinkers when they drink. And I have so many thoughts on this. And I'm really glad we're talking about this because a big reason that I quit drinking alcohol was because I started discovering ADHD in adult women. And I started consuming content surrounded around ADHD in women on TikTok and YouTube and in audiobooks. And learning about that was like a light bulb going off in my head. Everything started to make sense. Like I said, when people get a diagnosis from a doctor, a lot of times it makes everything make sense. For me, just hearing about the symptoms of ADHD in adult women made me feel like, oh my God, this is everything that I am experiencing. And it's all making sense, finally. I never understood why my brain was the way it was and why I wasn't able to relax and why I'm constantly thinking of 100 things at once, why I've already finished my friend's sentence before she's even gotten halfway through it. I already know the end of the story when she started telling it. Like, I interrupt. I am impulsive. All these different things are associated with ADHD, and it just all started to make sense. And I started learning about ADHD probably about a month before I quit alcohol, because I realized that I was drinking to cover my ADHD symptoms. And from that moment on, it all made sense. I remember my boyfriend was over and he was, working in the office, and I was sitting in bed scrolling on my phone. And I asked him to come into the bedroom, and I was just crying my eyes out. And I said to him, "Hey, this is a really weird thing to just randomly bring up, but I'm starting to realize that I think I have ADHD." And, he was like, "Yeah, not to be rude, but I could see that." He's like, I believe ya. I've thought maybe something like that was going on, but it makes you you. He was so sweet about it. My ex-boyfriend was a very sweet guy in a lot of ways. But yeah, it kind of just made sense. If you know me, you know that I'm a bit all over the place and I have some quirks in a lot of different ways. And I always say that ADHD can be my superpower. ADHD brings out a lot of my awesome qualities, but it also brings out a lot of my terrible qualities. And I think the terrible qualities are what I kind of drank to cover up. Actually, you know what? I dulled my sparkle. I dulled my positive qualities with alcohol as well. But anyways, back to the story. So yeah, I'm crying in bed, telling my boyfriend that I think I have ADHD, and just showing him all these videos, showing him all these stats, reading him articles. The poor guy, I was just like shoving this all down his throat. Like, this is crazy that I'm resonating so much with all of this information. And it's so funny because about a month or two after that, I'm crying to him again, saying that I think I have a problem with alcohol and I'm going to get sober. And yeah, so realizing that I drank to cover all those symptoms was so eye-opening, because it kind of made me realize that I could find other strategies to cope with those symptoms other than alcohol. And it also just showed me that I've been drinking to cover those symptoms. That's why I drink so much. That's why I love drinking alone at home. That's why I love drinking during a movie. That's why I like drinking during work. Yes, I drink during work sometimes. So the three most common symptoms, or it says the three main symptoms of ADHD are inattention, hyperactivity, and impulsivity. Inattention involves difficulty focusing, staying on task, and organizing, while hyperactivity manifests as restlessness, excessive movement, and difficulty sitting still. Impulsivity is characterized by acting without thinking, interrupting, and having difficulty waiting one's turn. So, like I said, as I was reading all these different symptoms and just watching a lot of TikTok videos about people with ADHD, I learned that I resonated with a lot of these. And then I learned about the fact that so many people use alcohol to numb the symptoms of ADHD. It is so common. So let's start with the first one, inattention and difficulty focusing. I feel like alcohol helps with that, because when I'm watching a movie or something, if I was drinking a lot, I could actually sit and calmly watch the movie and not have my brain running at 100 million miles an hour with so many thoughts that have nothing to do with the movie. It made it so that I could actually just focus on the task and relax and shut off my brain. And I think, again, that boyfriend at the time probably really appreciated that I was drinking during the movies, because when I don't drink and I watch a movie, I am all over the place. I'm pausing the movie 100 times to talk about random thoughts that have nothing to do with the movie. I am playing on my phone while watching, yet I know everything that's going on in the movie. I mean, yeah, the inability to focus can be a frustrating quality for people around us. I've noticed. And I've even had situations where someone's showing me a video and I'm like, okay, what is this about? Like, I don't want to watch a 3-minute video. What is this about? Let's get to the part that you wanted to show me. You know what I mean? I don't like wasting time. I like to get to the point. I struggle to focus on long form content. So anyways, drinking used to help with that for sure. But I would like to provide you with an alternative to drinking and dealing with the inability to focus. And that is the Notes app, or having a physical notebook if you're old school. And while you're watching that movie, have your Notes app out and write down every thought that comes to mind. You can either revisit those later and talk to your significant other or whoever's with you about all those thoughts that randomly popped into your mind during the movie. You'll later probably realize that you don't actually need to bring those up. That's the impulsivity aspect. You actually think before you speak and you say, oh, you know what? Actually, I don't need to talk about that. I can just have that be a thought in my own head. But anyway, so having a notepad to write down all your thoughts is really, really helpful and allows you to empty your brain so you can actually focus on what you're doing. This helps when you are at work as well and you're needing to focus on a project or you're needing to study for an exam. Have that Notes app nearby so that when you get sidetracked and you find yourself reading the same paragraph 3 times because you cannot focus on it, write down that thing that is blocking you in your mind. You're thinking about, oh my God, I didn't get these 3 things on my grocery list. Write it down on your Notes app. Write those 3 things down so that you can focus on work, get back to your studying, and get to those thoughts later. Emptying your brain allows you to focus on the thing that is actually at hand. So that is a really great strategy to manage the inattention portion of ADHD. So again, back to the 3 main symptoms. We have inattention, hyperactivity, and impulsivity. Let's move into the hyperactivity portion of it. It says it manifests as restlessness, excessive movement, and difficulty sitting still. So they're calling this a bit more of a physical one, and maybe the inattention more of a mental one. I consider hyperactivity to be something that goes on in your brain and in your body. Like I mentioned earlier, the hyperactivity of thoughts and just, gosh, if you deal with this, you know what I'm talking about. But I could have no music playing, no TV playing, be cleaning my room, and have a great time because I have so many conversations going on in my head. It's like, okay, I really want to buy jean shorts. I need to get a Dyson Airwrap. Maybe I don't. Do I spend too much money? Baby, you need your love. Is my camera almost out of battery? I should probably plug in my phone if I'm going to go on a walk later. What should I listen to on my walk? Maybe I should have a podcast. Is that a McDonald's? Oh, wait. Oh my God, I thought I left a piece of trash in the corner. Maybe I should start picking up the trash in my room. Anyways, that's just an example of how the brain goes. You can have so many conversations and thoughts going on in your head. You see how easy that was for me, by the way, to come up with all those random thoughts, because that's genuinely how my brain is at all times. And it can be frustrating, but it can also be your superpower. I'm serious. Having thoughts and having an active brain is a blessing. Although it feels, well, that's taking a really positive spin on it because it can be like debilitating at times, which is why a lot of people drink to frickin' shut up the brain because it's so annoying sometimes. But sometimes if you try to take a positive spin on it, like Paris Hilton says, her ADHD is her superpower. And it does allow you to think about a lot of things at once, to be creative, to have cool thoughts that other people don't have. So I try to take a positive spin on it, but yes, sometimes it's very frustrating. Moving on. That was hyperactivity in the brain. But this article talks about hyperactivity in the body, and that is major as well. And don't worry, I have coping strategies for this one too. So that fidgeting, hand to mouth, restlessness, always wanting to be standing, moving around. When you're watching a movie, you're sitting watching it, then you're going to get a snack, then you're sitting back down, then you're going to get some water, then you're sitting back down, then you're going to use the bathroom, then you're sitting back down, then you're changing out of your jeans into comfier pants, then you're sitting back down. Like that restlessness is hyperactivity in the physical form. And drinking helps with that because, again, it just calms you down. It's like instead of having your hands going all the time doing something, you can just sit with your hands on your lap and not have your foot fiddling, whatever that's called, restless leg or something. your muscles kind of stop and it slows and it numbs you. Alcohol literally just numbs you. And we don't want to do that. We want to find strategies that are healthier for addressing these qualities that we have about ourselves that are not necessarily negative, although they can be frustrating sometimes. Okay, back to the topic here. So, your restlessness. You're moving. Your body's always wanting to be moving. You drink, and that calms it down. Here's another coping strategy other than drinking. I hate promoting the fidget toy industry, okay? Because I think those are so dumb. They're great, actually. They are great tools. Ingenious idea. But I just hate the idea of spending money on them because we have so many fidget items around our house that you don't have to pay for. The other day, I was watching a movie, so about 2.5 hours long, and I played with a chip clip the entire movie. And I didn't even realize until the end of the movie, like, oh my God, I've been playing with a chip clip this entire time. It was one of those kind of heavy duty chip clips that has like the ridged plastic edge where you pinch. And I was pinching my skin with the clip part. I was playing with the ridged edge. I was just pinching it over and over and over again. I was touching the smooth part. Like, I was just playing with this chip clip for hours. I was clipping it to my ear. I was clipping it to my lips. I was clipping it to my chin. I was clipping it to my clothes and flicking it around. Like, I was just playing with this chip clip. And then at the end of the movie, I realized, wow, I've been playing with this clip the entire movie, which is crazy. But I also didn't overeat. I didn't drink anything, obviously. I'm sober. But I didn't drink any fun drinks either. Or I drank them a lot slower, I should say. If I'm watching a movie, you best believe I'm usually snacking like a mad woman. And I am drinking sparkling water after sparkling water, after soda, after soda, after soda, after sparkling water. So many drinks, so many snacks. And while that is fine if they're healthy options, sometimes I can find myself over snacking, overeating, and just going through an obscene amount of drinks. So sometimes fidgeting with something with your hand is nice. And yeah, you don't have to go out and feed the fidget industry more money, but having something to play with isn't the worst thing in the world. Okay? It makes it so you can focus on the movie or the task at hand or an annoying video that you have to watch for work or whatever you're needing to focus on. Having something to play with is really helpful. And I hate saying that because I feel like it makes me like mentally ill, saying that I enjoy playing with fidget toys while watching a movie. But maybe I am, for God's sake. Who knows? And that's not a negative thing. I'm just saying it's a hard thing to admit to yourself, at least in my opinion. So playing with something, fidgeting with something is great. And then also if you were a heavy drinker, the brain really likes that hand to mouth connection. And that's why snacking is fun. But also having so many healthy drinks, or not necessarily healthy, but non-alcoholic drinks stocked in your fridge is really, really helpful. Because you can go through as many sparkling waters as you want. In fact, I looked up recently how many sparkling waters is bad for you to have. None. It's like water. You can have as many sparkling waters as you want. And for me, I still drink diet sodas. I'm trying to drink a little bit less. But you can have your diet sodas. Maybe you have like a sparkling juice beverage, whatever. Like, just stock the fridge with amazing non-alcoholic drinks that you can drink over and over and over again because the body really likes that hand-to-mouth connection. And you can go even further if you want. I've seen on TikTok like these flavored little chew snacks or these little kind of sandpaper fidgety things. I mean, there's all sorts of things, and you can find one that works exactly for you, whether it's the hand-to-mouth thing or just touching something in your hand. But the two tips that I find most useful are to just have something to play with in your hand while you're needing to focus on something or watch a movie or whatever, and then also having healthy drinks stocked in the fridge. So those are ways that I deal with the restlessness. And also, try to capitalize on the restlessness. It does become more manageable the longer you are sober because, believe it or not, alcohol was tricking us. It's kind of a Band-Aid for the ADHD symptoms, but I can tell you from experience and in my research that alcohol will make your symptoms worse over time. So although it helps in the short term, it makes your symptoms worse in the long run. And I find that now in sobriety, I'm 9 months sober, I feel that my symptoms are a lot more manageable. I also am able to think things through a little better. We'll talk about that with the impulsivity. So I can address, why am I feeling like this? Notice that maybe this is a little ADHD thing. Let's take a step back, slow it down. Your symptoms are more manageable in sobriety. I'm telling you. But anyway, so you're in the beginning of your sobriety and you are so restless. You cannot sit still. You don't know what to do with yourself. Try to put that energy into something good. When I first got sober, I had just moved into a new place. It was like this condo thing, and we were allowed to redo the backyard if we wanted. We were able to do yard work, all this stuff. So I went ahead and I did that hardcore. I was out there until after the sun went down, shoveling and raking and planting this and pulling that and going to Home Depot and buying more plants and mowing the lawn and this, that, the other thing, removing the debris. Like, I was constantly doing stuff, power washing and bug treatments, and I just went so hardcore on the yard work. So you can do yard work, you can do random home improvement projects, you can do arts and crafts. I once bedazzled a cowboy hat for like 5 hours a day for a week straight. It took forever. But that activity was awesome. I'd do it while I watched movies, and I was so at peace. Oh my God, I don't even know how to describe it. It's the most beautiful feeling when your hands are busy. It's like your mind can shut off. It's kind of like alcohol used to shut off our minds, and that's why it was the Band-Aid for ADHD. But activities with your hands are kind of like that. When I was doing the yard work, I could shut off my brain. When I was doing the arts and crafts, I could shut off my brain. A lot of people get adult coloring books. So you can get a coloring book and a really great marker set that feels amazing in your hand and looks good on paper. Get a fresh one. Go to Amazon or TikTok Shop or whatever and get yourself a big pack of 100 different markers. I got a pack of 80 markers, double-sided, one fat side, one skinny side, and I love them. Just have activities ready to go. And I think hand activities are really important, stuff to do with your hands. So that's the yard work, the home improvement, the arts and crafts, the baking, whatever suits you, okay? Look it up online, activities to do with your hands. You know what else I did? Oh my God. So I do balloon arches, not as like a primary business, but I love making them, and I've done a few paid ones, and then I love doing them for my friends and family and stuff. And I love that so much because it is so hands-on and it's repetitive. I think repetitive activities are really good too. I am over and over again blowing up these balloons with my balloon machine, not my mouth. And I'm making this piece of art with balloons. And my brain is so at peace when I'm making those balloon arches. I even thought for a second that I should get a job like packing boxes for Amazon or something, because I love the repetitive nature of those balloon arches. It's blow up, tie, set it over here. Blow up, tie, set it over here. I just loved it. So that helps with the hyperactivity, just having something to do with your hands. So there's my tip. Without alcohol, you can do stuff like that. Okay, and the last main symptom of ADHD is impulsivity. And the reason that I drank with this one is because it gave me the patience to listen to people and communicate with people. I know that sounds awful, but a lot of times people with ADHD say that they can predict the end of the story before someone's even started. Like, I am 5 conversations ahead while we're having this current conversation. I interrupt, I butt in questions. And when I would drink, it would make me a lot more tolerable as a human being, because I would just chill. It would take the edge off, as they say, and I would just listen to these people talk, and I would be a much better conversationalist, wait till they're finished, then ask my question. It was like all the thoughts that were popping in my brain would shut off, and I wouldn't feel that need to be impulsive. Although, on the counter side of things, alcohol increased my impulsivity in other ways, like with the Amazon purchases and the random reservations to restaurants before I've even asked people if they're available. Like, I see something online and I order groceries to make that recipe right away instead of saving it for another time, maybe when I go to the grocery store. Like with alcohol, that didn't help that symptom. In fact, I think it made that type of impulsivity even worse. So there were some ways that alcohol helped my impulsivity, and there were some ways that it hurt it. Overall, alcohol will have a negative effect on your impulsivity and make you worse. And I say that from experience because in sobriety now, I have this new skill that I'm very proud of, which is thinking before I speak, taking things slower, thinking twice before I make a decision, adding something to my Amazon cart and revisiting it in a week to see if I still really need it. I just have this ability to take a step back and think about things a little bit more before I make a decision. I am still impulsive in several ways, and the finishing people's sentences before they're done, asking questions, butting in, interrupting, that's all still there. And, we're all works in progress, okay? But I am working on it. I am actively working on it. And the stuff with purchasing, I've gotten a lot better with. Sometimes I do still make a reservation for 6 people for dinner next week because I really want to go here and I really want all those people to be there. And I haven't even asked them if they're available or in town. And then I have to cancel reservations. The number of reservations that I've made and had to cancel is crazy. The number of Amazon purchases that I've made randomly in an impulsive attack and then had to return later is crazy. I am always at the Amazon returns because I'm like, God, why did I spend money on this? Why did I need to have that right then? So a big life hack for that is to put stuff in your online cart and revisit it later. You'll usually realize that you don't need that right now. I also have a folder on my phone called my wish list, which is things that I've thought about purchasing, and I just write it on there. And it's really helpful because then when I have extra money or I get a bonus or I receive a check for Christmas or I don't know, something, I can go check one of those things off the list that I really, really want and still want after it being on the list for a long time. Just another example about how lists and writing things down are really, really helpful for people with ADHD. Getting things out of your mind and onto paper is amazing. And one more tip with that I have is if you struggle with analysis paralysis, which is basically you have so much to do that you end up doing nothing because you're so stressed about all the things. You wake up in the morning and if you have no plan, you are just like, okay, I have to shower, but I should go work out before I shower. But I have so many emails to go through. I should do the emails before I go to the gym. But I could do the emails on the treadmill. But what about eating? I have to eat breakfast or else I'm going to faint. I need to drink water. I didn't drink water. If I don't drink water before I have caffeine, I'm going to die. Oh my God, your brain is just going like crazy that you end up just sitting in bed and scrolling TikTok or something. My tip for this is the night before. So every day, when I'm going to bed, I open my notes app and I write the most detailed to-do list you have ever seen. And this is an ADHD to-do list, okay? This is not your typical to-do list with just a few big tasks. No, this is wake up, use the bathroom, brush teeth, go upstairs, grab energy drink and granola bar, drive to the gym while listening to this podcast, eat the granola bar and the energy drink on the way to the gym. Get to the gym and do these workouts. I write down every single task that I have to do in the order that I need to do it. And when I wake up, it is just peace because I don't have to think at all. I know everything that I need to do. And I know that if I follow the to-do list, I will get everything that I want to get done. And that is so beautiful because you don't have to stress about what to do first, what to do next, what's most important. You already have it written down. And it just makes life a lot more tolerable. And that part makes me a little bit sad because when I used to drink, it was all those decisions that are running through my mind, what should I do? What should I do? What do I have to do? Blah, 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 to-do list in my mind. Alcohol would just shut it up so that I'm like, okay, well now I don't think about any of that. I'm just going to do nothing. And that's why I was not achieving the life that I wanted to achieve because when I would get stressed about what to do and what order to do it in, I just drank about it and then it goes away. It's okay, well, I'll just do nothing and feel okay about it because there's alcohol in my system. Oh, I'm so stressed. I'll just have a drink about it. But if you write things down, it's a way of handling that all those decisions, the analysis paralysis, but in a way where you actually get them done, which overall makes you feel less stressed. And you feel proud of yourself and accomplished instead of just numbing your stress and not dealing with things. So lists are a really big deal. I don't do this next one as much, but a lot of people recommend that with the analysis paralysis, you write down the 3 biggest things you want to accomplish in the day. So if you achieve nothing else and you just did these 3 things, you would be happy with yourself. So just as an example, today, I guess I didn't particularly write down my 3 biggest things, but they're part of my super anal to-do list where I'm writing down every little tiny step. And those 3 big hitters are in the list. But I know that if I follow the list, I'll be good. Right now, I'm right on schedule with my list, so I should get my big 3 done as well. But some people say that if you just write down your big 3, that's kind of a good way of dealing with things too. So today, I wanted to record podcast episodes. I wanted to clean the basement and put away all the podcast equipment because this is going to be turned into a little bit of a guest room for some people coming over. And I wanted to edit 2 episodes. And those are the 3 things I wanted to do, but they're mixed in with my super particular to-do list. So I know that I'm going to get them done. They're in my list. But I do see how writing down your 3 biggest things could be really, really helpful. Because let's say something comes up and you're not able to stick to the exact timing of your schedule that you developed for yourself. Well, as long as you get those big 3 things done, you will still have accomplished what you wanted to for the day. So, whether you are someone like me who literally needs to write down your every frickin' move throughout the entire day, or you just want to write down your 3 top priorities that you want to finish before you go to sleep. Either one, whatever is more manageable for you. I think those are both really good strategies. So try out those. Writing things down, planning, to-do lists, all great strategies for people with ADHD. Now, I want to finish the episode with just some random ADHD life hacks that I have discovered in my research that have changed the way I live so much. I'm still working on these things, okay? I'm not perfect, but they help, okay? So if you have ADHD or you resonate with the symptoms, I bet your room is messy, isn't it? I bet you have that chair in the corner that's piled high with your clothes that you just take off and throw on the chair. Yeah, same here, okay? So 2 strategies for that. Number 1, this one I'm really bad at, but it's a goal of mine, okay? People say, I think it's called like the don't set it down theory or something. So whenever you're taking off a piece of clothing, instead of setting it down, you put it away. So don't set it down. I don't know, however you want to look at it. The don't set it down, put it away theory. You're taking off your pants and you're changing into sweats, okay? So you take off the pants and you're so tempted to just throw it on the bed or throw it on that chair or whatever. But instead, just do a quick fold and put them in the drawer or throw them into the dirty clothes hamper or wherever they need to go. Put it away instead of putting it down. I'm so bad at that, but you catch yourself doing it so much and it really hits me when I catch myself. I'm taking off a top and I'm throwing it onto the bed and I'm like, what am I doing? Just put it away. I'm literally standing closer to the closet than I am to the bed, yet I throw it onto the bed instead of put it away in the closet. Take 2 seconds and think about, it's hard to think about this, but think about the fact that it's going to take you, 10 to 15 seconds to hang up the shirt and put it away. But if you throw it on the bed, you're going to be spending hours cleaning your room in the future. So try to be good to your future self and don't put it down, put it away. This is a note to self because I'm still really bad at this. And because I'm so bad at this, here's another tip. I have in my room what's called a throw basket. So you go get a cute, big basket from Target or something. Go treat yourself to a fun little basket. And this is your throw basket. So you have it kind of away somewhere. Or, I have mine on the far side of the bed, so you can't really see it when you walk in the room. But this is your spot to throw things when you don't have time to put things away or you don't want to or whatever. Because then when you do have time, you can go through the throw basket and put away everything that's in there, but the rest of your room stays clean. You're not throwing things on the bed. You're not throwing things on the floor. Everything goes in the throw basket or away, ideally. But I really, really, really struggle with that. Still working on that. But the throw basket is really helpful. Another thing that I struggle with a lot, and this is getting really personal, but brushing my teeth, there's some blocker in my brain where when I'm about to go into my room and go to bed, there's nothing I want to do less than frickin' brushing my teeth. It's so hard for me to do. And then I wake up in the morning and I think, what's the point in brushing my teeth if I'm about to go have coffee and breakfast? And then I never end up brushing them after coffee and breakfast. So I go without brushing my teeth. I mean, yeah, I'm sorry, that's a bit vulnerable, but brushing my teeth is such a blocker in my brain. I hate it so much. I'm like, why is that such a hard task for me? It's so frustrating. But anyway, I just saw a TikTok video about how ADHDers oftentimes struggle with brushing their teeth. It's a very common thing. So if that's you, you're not alone. I guess I'm not alone. Woohoo! But a trick that you can do is you can buy these little mini toothbrushes. We've all seen them at the grocery store. It's basically like a kind of floss pick on one side and then a little tiny brush head with a little bit of toothpaste on it. And you can use those in your bed. You can keep them by your bedside. And when you feel like there's nothing that could pull me out of this bed to go brush my teeth, you just grab one of those little things and you brush your teeth and you don't even have to spit it out or anything. You just brush them with that thing, and you know what? It's better than nothing. I think they're designed for like camping or travel or the airport, kind of on the go solutions. But if you put them by your bed, that's a really good strategy. I just ordered some, not impulsively, but I really thought about it and decided, yes, I want those. And I just ordered some, so they should be coming soon. And that will help with the teeth brushing block that I have. Also, if you ever find that you have a weird block like that, like you find it hard to shower or brush your teeth or clip your nails or whatever your blocker is, look up on TikTok ADHD and blah. ADHD and brushing your hair or something. And you will find so many relatable videos of people who deal with the same thing as you do. And that brings me a lot of peace. And again, it teaches you actual coping strategies instead of turning to alcohol. So I highly recommend doing that. Okay, one more trick I wanted to share with you is the fridge organization hack. Okay, when you need ketchup or hot sauce or ranch, you know that you need that condiment, okay? You're having your burger and you're like, I really need some mustard. And you go to the fridge to get your mustard. You don't need to have sauces on display in your fridge. In my own apartment, I put the sauces in the vegetable drawer, the drawer that is hidden away and you can't see from the outside, because I never need to browse the sauces. I mean, occasionally I do, but my brain still says I need a sauce, and I go to the sauce drawer and browse what I have. I know that they're in there, and you generally know when you need a sauce or a spice or something like that. But things like vegetables, eggs, meat, those are things that I put right smack dab in the middle of the fridge at eye level, so that I remember that they're there. I remember to use them before they go bad. And it's a reminder, like, you bought these groceries, you need to use them. You don't need to have the sauces on the inside of the door when you open it up, right on display. You should put things on display that you're going to forget are there. You can do with that information what you will. But for me, the sauces in the vegetable drawer is like a huge life hack, because you don't need those on display. And it provides extra room to put things that you do need on display. It just helps. It helps keep the fresh things at the top of your mind. So you open the fridge and you're like, oh yeah, I have that. Or when you're browsing for what to eat, you see, oh yes, I have this. I could make a yogurt bowl. Oh, and there's another one. Oh my gosh. This is a huge hack that I learned for ADHD. You categorize things as a meal. So you don't put all the dairy next to each other, like the sour cream, the yogurt, and the cheese all next to each other. Because what are you going to make with that? You look at those and you're like, okay, there's all my dairy items. Now what? Instead, I put the yogurt with the fruit because I'm going to make a yogurt parfait. I put the sour cream with the avocado and the fresh cut onion because I'm going to make a taco bowl. And I put the cheese there too because I'm going to sprinkle it on top. Or maybe you're using the cheese for grilled cheese. So you put your, tomato soup with the cheese. Like, you categorize it so you look at it and you see what you have as a full, complete meal instead of just ingredients. Because that's how things go bad, is you realize that you just have ingredients. Put the cilantro with the Mexican dish, the sour cream and the cheese and the freshly cut onions. I even put the tortillas in the fridge with all the Mexican stuff just so I don't forget that I'm planning to make that meal. Just putting things together helps so much and helps you not forget what you have. And I also use this on my makeup desk, okay? I don't put all my skin products together, all my foundation products, all my eyeshadows together. I put steps together, if that makes sense, like things that I typically use next to each other. So my foundation will be with my primer, which will be with my concealer, and I'll have those three together in an area instead of putting all my different foundation options right next to each other. It's like I don't need to browse the foundation. I need to remember to do the steps next to each other, if that makes sense. So there's another just little organization hack for you. There are so many amazing coping skills that you can learn online about how to deal with ADHD. And learning those strategies has given me so much peace and made it so much easier to not drink. Like, I hardly think about alcohol anymore because I have so many amazing strategies for dealing with things. Because I learned that the ADHD symptoms were why I drank so much. Like I said, when I linked those two, it all made sense to me, and I knew that I needed to stop and change my life. And learning the coping strategies gives you an out other than alcohol. So if you are someone who struggles with ADHD symptoms and you drink, just know that there are other solutions out there. And you can learn and grow as a human being, and it will give you so much peace. You will experience less ADHD symptoms, and you will become a better person overall because you're not using alcohol just as a quick fix for those symptoms, which actually make all of your symptoms worse in the end. Coping strategies are so much better, and you can do it. So thank you for listening to this episode. It is one that I think a lot of people will resonate with because so many people deal with this, and especially adult women. Statistically drink a lot to cover ADHD or undiagnosed ADHD symptoms. So I hope that you were able to grab some tangible tips from this episode. Feel free to revisit it if you find yourself dealing with any of those main symptoms that we talked about. And I wish you the best. And I hope that you'll be able to use these strategies and not drink away your problems. There are better solutions out there. So with love, bye-bye.